All right, good morning or good afternoon, chemistry. Today you will work a hodgepodge of problems. This means that you'll have to name compounds and write formulas for a variety of things like ionic compounds, covalent compounds, and acids. They'll be all mixed up together. I would like to work a few examples with you, but before we work a few examples, let's just kind of review. So remember, if it's an ionic compound, that means that it's going to deal with metal and a nonmetal. Remember, the metal goes first, the nonmetal goes second, and you change the ending of the nonmetal to IDE. Your second type of bonding would be your covalent bond. And a covalent bond is between two nonmetals. Please remember that when you have two nonmetals, this is the only time you're going to use prefixes. And the one that we started yesterday is acids. And acids always start with a hydrogen, and they are named for whatever follows the hydrogen. And there are three different rules that you have to be aware of when you're dealing with acids. So the first one, if you look up here, I know that this is an acid because it starts with a hydrogen. It is named for whatever follows the hydrogen. So right now, I need you to get your yellow cheat sheet and go ahead and look up NO3. Because I know it's an acid because it starts with a hydrogen, but is named for whatever follows the hydrogen. So right now, everybody look up NO3. Okay, NO3 is nitrate. And the rule is when you're dealing with acids, if the thing that follows hydrogen ends in ATE, you change it to ick. You ate something icky. So nitrate becomes nitric. So this formula would actually be nitric acid. I know it's an acid because it starts with a hydrogen. It's named for whatever follows. And in this case, it's nitrate. And the rule is if it ends in ate, change it to ick. So nitrate becomes nitric acid. Our second rule when you're dealing with acids, once again, this is an acid because it starts with a hydrogen. It's named for whatever follows it. So right now, look on your yellow cheat sheet and find NO2. NO2 is nitrite. So it has a different rule because the fact that it ends in ITE. So the rule for this acid is if it ends in ITE, you change it to OUS. So nitrite becomes nitrous. So this formula would be nitrous acid. I know it's an acid because it starts with a hydrogen, is named for whatever follows it, which is nitrite. And the rule is if it ends in ITE, change it to OUS. So nitrite becomes nitrous acid. The third rule, acids, deals with when you only have hydrogen and one other element. There are only two elements, hydrogen and one other element. And the rule is, once again, I know it's an acid because it starts with a hydrogen. It's named for whatever follows it. And so that happens to be nitrogen, which would really be nitride if you were pulling him off the periodic table. But the rule is, if it's hydrogen and one other element, this is the only time we're going to use a prefix. We're going to use hydro, root word, ic acid. So we're going to go hydro, the root word of whatever follows the hydrogen, nitrogen. So it's going to be hydro, that's the root word, nitric acid. So this formula would be hydronitric acid. So what I'd like to do is do a couple of problems with you, and then you're going to work some on your own. So I'd like you to take a look at 31. You'll look at number 31. First question you want to ask yourself is it an acid? So is it an acid? No, because it doesn't start with a what? A hydrogen. Good. So the next question you ask yourself, if it's not an acid, I don't need to remember those acid rules. The next question you want to ask yourself, is it a metal and a nonmetal or two nonmetals? So go ahead and look. And there's actually two nonmetals. So ding, 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 you're going to use prefixes. These were my favorites, as I told you. You just write what it tells you. P is phosphorus. And how many phosphorus does it show? Just one. But they don't like to put the prefix of mono on the first one, but they will put the other prefixes. Okay, Cl is really chlorine, which would become chloride. And how many is it showing? There are five. So you have to show that there are five chlorines. So the prefix for five would be penta. So number 31 would be phosphorus pentachloride. Next one I want you to look at is 32. First question you want to ask yourself, is it an acid? So is it an acid? Nope. Don't worry about the acid rules. Next thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, is it a metal and a nonmetal or two nonmetals? So go ahead and look. Okay, it's a metal and a nonmetal. So who goes first? Iron, sulfate. Now, since you have a metal, you have to look on the back of the cheat sheet. So everybody find iron. No fake lookers. Everybody find iron and look, can iron have more than one charge? So when you flip, iron can be a 2 or iron can be a 3. So you have to let me know, is this iron 2 or iron 3? And the general way to do this is after the crisscross. So that means this 3 really came from iron. So this would be iron 3 sulfate. Okay, the last one I want to do with you is number 33. From the first question you want to ask yourself, is it an acid? So is it an acid? Okay, it is an acid because it does start with a hydrogen. It is named for whatever follows that acid. So right now I need you to look on your cheat sheet and find SO3. Yes, I need you to really look and find SO3. So SO3 is sulfite. And if you remember, the rule is if it ends in ITE, change it to OUS if it's an acid. So sulfite becomes, you add OUS. Now, whenever you have sulfur with something, you have to add a UR. Whenever you're dealing with phosphorus, you're going to add an OR. So this would actually be sulfurous acid. Sorry about the handwriting. Sulfurous acid. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to put 3 problems up. I'm going to write the 3 problems. I'm going to ask the sub to please pause the video after I show you these 3 problems. I want you to try number 34. I want you to try number 35. I want you to try number 25. And so what I'd like to ask the sub is right now, if you will please pause the video, give the students a few minutes to work these 3 problems. And after a few minutes, I'd like for you to press play again so they can check their answers. So please pause the video now. All right, thank you. Check your answers. And then now what I want you to do is work 1 through 15 and 41 through 55.